Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much, actually.
Yeah, anytime.
God.
What?
I
can't be a hype man to my friend.
You're always a hype man.
Yeah.
Just for anybody but me.
No! Especially you.
That's true.
Excuse me.
It's just, you're always hyping me up and keeping me grounded at the same time.
Yeah, no, yours comes with layers.
Yeah. You know, like an ogre. And also an onion.
Stop!
Welcome to our through line. Hi, welcome to Into the Twilight. We have layers. 50 Shades of layers.
Somebody!
Oh my god.
So aggressive.
just like belting it out. Oh my god.
Listen, no one's here. I can do whatever I want.
Oh my god.
My tears are like coinciding with my sweat.
Oh my god. One of these days, the tears from my laughing on this podcast are gonna set my recording equipment on fire, and I'm just gonna be electrocuted while recording this, and it's just gonna be the most appropriate way to go.
Yeah, no, I think that's fitting.
I'm just gonna die while recording this podcast. Oh my god. How are you doing, Cody?
In continuation of last week, I'm dying and sweating.
Great.
And I hate it. But I did watch the entire second season of Glow. So,
That's good.
while wallowing in my sweat and my sadness, I watched some great ladies.
Yes. That's fantastic. I'm proud of you. Glow is fantastic. I have been watching it. I think I'm on the 4th episode right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's very good. And I'm also dying, but for different reasons, not hot reasons. So, in the middle of watching Glow today, it has been kind of a warm morning, afternoon here, but not like hot like it is in the Midwest. I had a lime popsicle as my mid-morning treat, as you do.
Yeah. I'm picturing it. I'm here.
And while reading this morning to prep, I got to a part, which we will discuss later, and shared it with my boyfriend, and we started laughing so hard that I choked on my popsicle, swallowed it, and literally forgot how to breathe and almost died. Like I did the like.
When we say this podcast will kill us, we're not. It's not a bit.
It's not a bit.
There are real lives at stake.
So, the combination of the beautiful folks on Glow, the shitty literature of 50 Shades, and my damn good popsicle literally almost killed me.
I can see the headline now. It's like, woman dies via popsicle. Last thing seen on her phone was the ebook to 50 Shades of Grey.
Yep. Yeah, there's a line that we're going to talk about later today that was, I'd really like to claim your ass. And it was the last thing that I highlighted so that I would remember to talk about it today. Not out of like, ooh, yeah, I'm going to masturbate to this later. But like in a, oh, fuck me. Like, I can't believe this is in this book. And yeah, that would have been the last thing that my dear boyfriend heard me say out loud before I died. Those would have been my last words. Which, you know what? That's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. You know what?
In other news of things I'm also really ashamed of, it's been a week.
Has it been 1 week with Bare Naked Ladies?
So I'm glad that you mentioned music, Cody.
Oh my God.
Because before this past 24 hours, when God bless, both Glow and Nailed It came back for new seasons. There was nothing else on Netflix for me to watch, so I just started rewatching Glee, and I'm through the 3rd season, so that's where I'm at in life.
I don't know if I've revealed this on this podcast, but I went through something very similar like a year ago, because like we had again, I was like in a drought of like Netflix content, and I was in a class where we had like watched an episode for like reasons, whatever, college is fake.
Yeah, that's true.
College is fake. And I was like, you know what? I haven't seen Glee since like high school.
Yep.
Why don't I just do that? And then I went through the first 3 seasons like in a fucking like hot flash, and there were dark moments. So I'm in solidarity with you. I see you, but now you have other things to watch. So
thank God.
Yeah.
I just have like left it on.
Yeah.
And have found myself just like accidentally crying, and I'm like,
yeah,
what?
It's so rude.
I didn't need this.
This was supposed to be fun. Why am I? Oh God. Why do I care about these like people?
Yeah, it's really embarrassing because I definitely haven't thought about this show since high school.
Yeah.
And yet here I am getting way too invested in a show that's literally the worst.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's just where I'm at. But thankfully there's new stuff on Netflix again, so it doesn't matter, and we are not going to talk about it again. So it's definitely not
Never heard it.
Yep, no. That's
redacted from this podcast.
Yep, it's fine. Let's talk about what's happening in popular culture right now that we need to just exude from our bodies and share. There's been a craze. We've talked about this over the past couple weeks via Pete Davidson.
Yes.
And that's kind of where this started. But thankfully, it's kind of moved beyond that.
It's so much more.
It's so much more than that now. We got to talk about BDE, you know?
Yeah, we got
you know,
what kind of sex podcast would we be if we don't talk about BDE?
You know, we talk a lot about BDSM here. We got to talk about BDE.
We're educational. We're here for you.
So, Cody made some fantastic posts on our Twitter account this week. Really just keeping up with the culture, doing
Love
the Lord's work.
Brand. Yeah,
yep, it's really good. And this kind of ties in with what one of the questions that we got too, which we'll get to in a moment. But there's been a lot of discourse, I would say, about popular icons that have BDE. People that we know that have BDE, what consists of BDE.
What does it mean?
What does it mean? Who can have it? So let's dive in. I mean, you are, I would say, you have 100% of it. So why am I even talking, I guess? So please tell me.
Listen, I'm not going to flaunt my perfect BDE sewer, but I will.
I mean, I need to learn from you, so.
I will for education's purposes. I think it's the easiest to understand BDE through, like, associations with, like, people and personalities, right?
Yep.
Because, like, you think of, like, Rihanna's, like, kind of the classic one, right?
Yep.
She's, like, she is BDE. Especially that photo of her, like kind of man-spreading on that chair. With, like, a beautiful coat. Like, that's BDE. Unfortunately, Pete Davidson is BDE. One that came to my head was Jude Law. Jude Law is BDE. Aquafina, I think, is BDE. Kristen Stewart, obviously. Runs exclusively on BDE.
Yeah, there's a photo set that I recently retweeted onto our account, so if you need to look at it, you certainly can.
Kate Blanchett, like...
Oh my god.
All of the cast of Ocean's 8, really.
Yeah, I mean, that should really just be retitled, like, Ocean's 8 BDE.
Yeah, that's the rebrand. That's the, like, when they package it up for, like, DVD release and everything.
Yeah, like, them on that subway is just BDE. Ooh, yeah. Mm.
Everyone on Glow.
Everyone on Glow, yeah, seriously. But so what I'm looking at right now is this article from The Cut. Mm-hmm. And it's talking about, like, the best Twitter nominations for BDE, or Big Dick Energy. And now, here's the thing. There's a couple on here that I sincerely disagree with. And so I want to get your discussion on it, because you have 100% via this quiz that we took, so you are the expert, and I only have 50%, so I don't have anything to say here. But the first one that they talk about is Mr. Rogers. And I'm personally terrified of Mr. Rogers, so I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah, we've been over your weird fear of Mr. Rogers. I do love this is tweeted by Jabuki. I love Jabuki.
Yeah.
Mr. Rogers, I don't, I want to say no, right? Like, my heart is like, no.
Yes.
Our boy, Mr. Rogers. Maybe.
I don't know about that, is the thing.
Yeah, I think he's too, like, really soft, caring, nurturing, like, sweaters kind of guy.
Yeah, he's too pure for that, right?
Right, like, BD seems to be, like, a whole nother, like, level
right.
of, like, assertiveness or, like, confidence or whatever.
Okay, so Tracy Clayton, God bless, says Stephen Colbert.
Yeah.
I agree.
Especially in this photo, too.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Like,
this is...
Anyone who can crack a pistachio...
Big Daddy energy.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Okay, this next one, though... I mean, we just talked about this, but, like, every lesbian. Like,
it's great, yeah. I think this was the first BDE tweet I've actually seen, which is why I was so confused about what was happening. And I love Pilot. And I was, like, scrolling through, I'm like, interesting. And then, yeah, it checks out.
Okay, this next one. It just says, some Kardashian men.
Yeah.
My favorite part about this, because it's just a list of them, it just says at the end, Rob Kardashian, don't make me laugh. God bless. Okay, here's one that I would have never expected. Stuart Little.
I don't want there to be an audio clip of me available to anyone. Me saying that he may or may not have big dick energy. I don't think that's a phrase I want publicly on the internet.
I mean, I'll commit to it.
You take the bullet.
Listen, I've said a lot of things on this show.
I guess this is where I personally.
Wasn't that? I think it was pretty early in the show when I talked about a lot of vampires that I said could get it. So
yeah. Well, listen. Oh, Nosferatu, huge dick energy. Massive.
Yeah, I mean Nosferatu is like the OG of BD.
He's
so.
BD.
Yeah. Okay. There's a lot on here that I don't know. But the last one is RBG. So, like, Ruth Bader Ginsburg has a lot of BD. So, yeah. This is pretty good. This is a pretty good list. So, the last thing of... What's the word? Oh, current events. I'm just so caught up in BD. Wow. Is this Irvine Book Festival, which I have never heard of before. So, I'm a bleep. It's fine. Is supposed to include 50 Shades of Grey themed cocktail night. Why? So great. Thanks for that. I guess it happens in the UK, which is probably why I don't know it, because they're using a lot of, like, pound things in this article. But it's for 18 and up, so enjoy that. Take care of yourselves.
Yeah, have a good time.
Have a good time. Okay.
Be free.
Be free. Take care of yourselves. Yes. Okay, so back to BDE, the most important part of this episode.
Lest we digress any further from BDE.
Well, we got a question about it. There was someone who asked which character in the Twilight Saga has the most big dick energy. They said they would include 50 Shades, but they said, I doubt anyone in that book has it, nor do we care.
Yeah.
So
right, I got two, like, for sure for Twilight.
Go.
Victoria, Rosalie.
Holy shit. Yes.
Massive. Exuding from
they
their
are,
pores.
Yep.
Just
Agreed. Yeah, I mean, Rosalie, for sure.
Yeah.
And Victoria, yes. Yeah.
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 Listen, her emotions got in the way at the end there, but, like, for the most part.
Here's the thing, too. I think Leah would say that she has it, but she's too much of a low-key softie.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Jasper?
Interesting.
Jasper has...
I think he has, like, BD under wraps. Like, he's not, like, aggressively BD. He's like, yeah, it's here. Like, does Carlisle have BD? Does Charlie have BD?
think Charlie does... No. Does Charlie more than Carlisle?
I was gonna say Carlisle more than Charlie.
I think Carlisle does more than Charlie, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Who out of the wolf pack?
Oh, man. I mean, all of them, but they're all, like, aggressive. They're, like, they're the bad way. they're like, just stop. Put it away.
Just, hey, stop.
Except Jacob. Jacob has the smallest dick energy. Yes, so him and fucking Mike Newton have the smallest dick energy on Forks.
Agreed. Okay. All right. That's good to know.
Here for the important questions.
I like this. I like these questions. These are important questions.
Yes. And who else could answer such wonderful questions?
I mean...
Than two experts.
Yeah, I mean, we are the experts here, so there's nobody else. One of the things that's exciting as we move forward into reading chapters 15, 16, and 50 Shades today is that we are going to surpass the 50% mark of this book today.
Whoa!
So that is very nice.
50% of completion. What's up, man?
Listen, if you could just stop making jokes about my 50% score on BDE, that would be...
Oh my... No!
Really...
That's... I would never BDE shame someone. Never.
It's just, like, really rude. Okay, here's the thing. I know I say this every week, but these two chapters are gross.
Yeah.
And they're getting a little bit repetitive with this contract business.
Yeah, we're kind of, like, in a lull situation right here.
Yes.
Where it's like, we're talking about the same things, but, like, not really progressing anything about it. So we're just kind of like, nothing's really happening, and then there's sex. Like that.
Yeah, they're following
it's very
the
formulaic.
Same... Yes, they're following the same structure, and it's getting annoying to me personally. Yeah. But there have been some choice nugs, which is great to follow.
Allie's favorite strand of weed.
Thank you. So where we left off last week was Anna. I gotta stop calling her Bella in my head. One of these days.
You'll get there.
One of these days. So last week, she wrote this really sad quote on the books, and that's where we left off. Now, chapter 15 starts with hi, and on my Kindle version, the H is, like, huge, right? Because that's how it always happens. And so it's just the weirdest, it's the weirdest looking thing.
Yeah.
Christian's in a leather jacket, and Anna is shook. They decide to have champagne to celebrate her graduation, and to do so in teacups. Sure.
Yeah, because that's all she had, to be fair.
Yes.
But it's also a fun imagery of, like, Christian Grey being, like, this kind of big dude, like, just drinking out of this tiny teacup.
Yes. I like it a lot.
Getting drunk off champagne.
Yep. It's very good to me. The conversation that they have, as usual, is they're saying a lot of things, but they're not communicating anything.
Mm-hmm.
She tries to give back the books. It doesn't work, because he's like, Anna, I gave you book. Enjoy. And she's just like, these are expensive, Christian. You're all about charity. Why don't you just donate these to charity? And it doesn't work. He starts to talk about, too, like, that he wants to buy her things, and she finally communicates the fact that she doesn't like doing it, not because he's just spending money, but because it makes her feel, like, worthless and cheap.
Right.
And he's like, stop thinking like that. You're just overthinking stuff. And that's not really how you validate those feelings.
Also, I'm thinking about this a normal amount.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous.
And, like, whenever she asks him, like, why he does these things, like, on an actual level, he's like, no. You don't need to know that. Which would, like, assuage her actual, like, fears and, like, concerns with these things. But he's like, nah, just accept that I do things this way, and it's fine, and I do things for you, and whatever, and it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, he's not helping her, like, relieve those anxieties. That's just causing her to overthink more.
Right. And he keeps, like, mentioning that she's the first partner of his that, like, has been inexperienced, but is still doing nothing to, like, close the gap.
Exactly.
He's like, wow, you're just so inexperienced. There's no way to help you, I guess. Guess what?
God. They end up talking about, like, they look around at all of her packing and stuff, and they start talking about the work that she's going to do in Seattle, and so she decides to tell him about the interning that she wants to do at these publishing houses. And she's like, well, I'm not going to tell you where I want to work. I don't want you to influence my jobs, and like, I can keep stuff to myself. I don't need to tell you anything. And he's like, Anna, no. Like, tell me things.
Anna.
And it's so weird that, like, he feels obligated to every part of her life, and yet when she asks for literally anything in return, he's like, nah.
And like, not. He's made it so clear that they're, like, not in a relationship, but he doesn't do romance, and he doesn't want to, like, have a partnership with her or whatever, or be romantic. And meanwhile, he's still, like, prying into her private life.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I thought this was, like, a sex thing, because that was the contract, and that's what we were gonna do.
Yep.
Because you clearly don't want to do anything else. Why are you inserting yourself into my life when you said that's not what we were gonna do,
right.
sir?
Yeah, he keeps, like, blurring those ideas and expectations for her, which only makes things available for overthinking. It's not helping her at all.
No.
He has another copy of this email of, like, her expectations, which she's very confused about.
Like, every pocket and every jacket he has.
So weird.
This email printed out.
Yep. So they go through, just like last time, the appendices of this contract again. And it's very similar to last time, where they go through, like, the soft limits and the hard limits. And so this is the part where they start talking about the soft limits, and she's like, well, I don't really want to do anal. And Christian says, well, I'll agree to the fisting part, that you don't want to do that, but I'd really like to claim your ass, Anastasia. And this is where I started to choke and almost die.
Yeah.
Because
it's awful. It's a horrible, horrible string of words.
Yeah. And because out of context, if he was like, I'd really like to claim your ass, and your ass will need training, it's like, all right, okay. Well, then let's get to the gym. But, like, he's not, like, he's, like, talking about it in such a possessive way, and it's so gross. So, anyways. Also, she's not doing herself any favors. Like, I know this is her first experience with all of this, but she keeps bringing up Mrs. Robinson.
Yeah.
And I think that it really just goes to show that she's not very secure with this. Like, his actions and maybe, like, her previous experiences with abandonment or something are making her, like, revert back to his experience. I don't know what it is, but she obviously does not feel comfortable with this relationship, that she keeps wanting to bring up his prior experiences here.
Sure.
And I think that that's something worth noting here too.
And I feel so uncomfortable with the fact that they're drinking during this.
Yes!
And, like, it's champagne, right? Which is fine, I guess. But, like, it's still just like, we are negotiating a contract here, and, you know, like, why can't we just do this, like business, like we do business? Like, why do I have to be a little loosey-goosey? Because, like, you can tell that she's, like, kind of just, like, looking at things and, like, agreeing to them and, like, not really negotiating, right? It's just kind of like,
Yeah, there's a part where it says, like, I shrug, glancing down at the list. So she's not carefully going through this.
Right.
And I know that she's looked at this before,
Sure.
but this is when they're supposed to be detailing this again. And he's going to mention this later on, too, but his primary reason, he intentionally wanted to have her drink during this. And that's fucked up. Because that's not how you're supposed to negotiate contracts. It's not cool. Especially because, so they go on and they start talking about sex toys. And she doesn't know what a lot of this stuff is, which is fair. I mean, I know that he told her to, like, look up stuff, but she doesn't, you know, how do you know that you're supposed to look up?
She's been busy, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So she has some confusion over some of these, what the difference is between, like, anal beads and eggs are. And so he starts to laugh at her. And I know, like, she should feel comfortable enough, both of them should, to be able to laugh in this situation. But to me, when I read this, it felt like he was laughing at her and not laughing at the situation. And I feel like that creates a weird power dynamic there. And so I I felt like that was kind of gross. They keep going on. She had some more questions about, like, spreader bars and stuff like that, and, like, how she would be using safe words if she was, like, gagged and stuff like that. And she just keeps making notes of, like, I'm nervous about this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, this is a lot of new stuff for her, which I think is fair. But then, okay. So he goes on to talk about pain, right? And I felt like this was a really blunt way for him to ask this, of, like, he asked her if she was physically punished as a child, and something about that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I'm just like...
Yeah, it's,
I don't...
not... Because I guess in his mind he was like, oh, like, what, do you have a frame of reference of, like, what it feels like to be punished, or, like, what it feels like to be spanked, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But, like... What a weird way to go about that. And be like, hey, so do you have any, like, childhood trauma of you being, like, hit when you were a kid? Like,
yeah.
Maybe not the way to do that.
Especially because if he's trying to differentiate this, like, if he's trying to associate this pain with pleasure, right. I feel like that isn't the way to help her associate that. No. I don't know how you would ask that. So, yeah. I don't know. I just felt like that was kind of weird. So they keep going on all of these kind of, like, subsections. She talks about, like, the punishment thing, the fact that worries her, all that stuff. And that they want to have sex, right? Well, he wants to have sex right now. And I guess she does too. But before they can do that, he tells her that he wants to, like, try to be more of a person in this relationship, I guess.
A human being, not a robot.
But he has a condition for it, and it's that he can continue to buy her these elaborate gifts that she told him he was uncomfortable with, or she told him she was uncomfortable with.
I love being bought into a relationship.
Seriously. So he buys her this car, this brand new car, that he talked to her stepdad about, and she's very uncomfortable with that.
Yes.
As you would be. And she mentions too that she's like, I feel sick and mortified for my dad, probably because she feels like maybe her dad feels bad that he couldn't do that for her or something. Who knows? But anyways, she is like, I want to still have these as loans, and he's like, yeah, loans, indefinite loans, whatever. Anyway, so they decide to have sex, even though she has not signed this contract. And it's, like, gross or whatever. I don't know. Like, it's fine. But it's just, he's trying to do this whole thing where he, like, gives her control, but she's, like, doesn't really have control. I don't know how to best explain it. But it's, I don't know. It's the same exact sex that they've been having this whole time.
Yeah.
It's not really anything different.
But it brings me to my bit.
Please.
Which I'd like to call Cody's Quiz Corner.
Yes.
So, during the scene, and every scene we've probably seen up until this point, where I noticed that E.L. James doesn't like to use the word vagina.
No.
Rather, she'll use the words my sex, which is worse.
Very worse.
Objectively worse. So I searched a couple of terms, and I wanted you to guess how many times they appear in this book.
Okay.
We can start with my sex. How
Okay.
many times do you think Anna's like, he went to my sex, or like he reached for my sex?
So not just sex, but specifically my sex.
So like not like my sexuality or like sex, but like the phrase my sex.
Oh my god.
Like in reference to her genitals.
25?
It's 12.
Okay. Alright.
It's 12.
That's still...
Now, how many times do you think she says vagina? In the whole book. The whole book.
Once.
It's twice.
Oh my god.
2 times.
Under what context?
There's one later on, and I think we passed one earlier, but hold on, let me search it.
Because
while I'm searching, how many times do you think she said vulva?
None times.
Yeah, that's correct.
Because I know she doesn't say clit either. I haven't read that at all.
Vagina, I also took out the times they are referenced specifically in the contract. Because in that time, there's like like 6 times.
Oh.
But, like, actually in the narrative, it's one in chapter 8, and she says the front wall of my vagina, and then there's one a couple chapters later where she says the entrance of my vagina.
Okay.
Alright, now, how many times do you think they say penis?
2,000.
You know what?
Like, I don't know, like 60.
0.
Really?
0 times.
I guess I haven't read it.
I looked for dick, I looked for penis, I tried so many words, and I think that the way that, because of how it's written, and that it's through Anna's perspective or whatever, she's always saying it like, it's like him inside of her, or like...
Oh, that's
like,
true.
She's being filled up with him, so she never, like, actually says penis, ever. I did look up clit, and if you want to guess.
Oh, I guess, I don't know, maybe like 3?
10. 10
really?
times. Yeah. 10 times.
I don't remember it.
There's some in chapter 8, one in chapter 9, chapter 12, chapter 14.
How many times does she say groin?
I hope never. Oh my god! Guess.
12.
No, 4 times.
4 times? Okay. God, I don't like this game.
And that concludes Cody's quiz.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. They say vagina more times in the contract than they do actually, like, in reference to sex or Anna's body.
Oh, I believe that wholeheartedly.
But, like, a substantial amount more.
Because it's not... I mean, from what we've read so far, it hasn't been about her.
Well, yeah, right. But it's also from her perspective.
True.
So you feel like she would be, you know, I don't know.
Yeah. But I mean, from what we know so far, she hasn't been learning a lot about herself, so...
No, of course not. Of course not.
I mean, she isn't allowed to masturbate, but she hasn't also masturbated. She had, like...
Sure.
Sleep sex with, like, she had, like, a sleep orgasm, which just, like, happened, so...
Yeah.
You know, as you do. So, wow, okay, that's surprising to me, personally. So yeah, they have sex with all of those words that we just talked about, and they fall asleep together, sort of, and that's where this chapter ends. Bam, bam, bam. When chapter 16 starts, Anna wakes up on Christian's chest, and she goes to, like, touch his chest, and he just, like, fucking swipes her hand away.
Hey!
He's, like, still asleep, and he just, like, fucking nopes her hand away. And it's the
He's unconscious and just rises from the dead.
Yeah. And it's just the funniest image to me of just, like, you can sleep on me, but just don't touch me at all.
Please, God, get your hands away from me.
Anna asks him, she's like, why don't you like to be touched? And his response is, because I'm 50 shades of fucked up, Anastasia.
There it is.
There it is, boys.
There it is. We made it.
Ooh. Oh, God. Okay. Great. So they start talking about her orgasms for no reason. And he's, like, all boastful because he's like, you've had 6 orgasms so far and they all belong to me. Rah, 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 rah. And, okay, for some reason, I don't know why, but when she says flush, I know she's talking about blushing. But I don't know why. But every time she says flush, I just keep thinking that she's on the toilet.
Oh my...
I don't know why. Like, why won't you just say blush? I don't get it. Anyways, so she tells him about her sex orgasm, and about the writing crop and stuff, and he, like, blushes, and he gets so excited. It's so weird. They're both gross.
They're the worst.
They're just... that's the most direct communication they've ever done.
Yeah.
And so then things, I mean, they were already gross, but then things get really gross because he's like, I just, like, hate wearing condoms. You need to, like, sort out some contraception, Anna. Yeah. So, he's like, do you have a doctor? And he's like, okay, well then, I'll just have mine come over to your apartment, and he can see you at my place. And it's like, what? Like, what are you talking about?
Sir.
Who does, like, what? No. Anyway, so it's still, like, the same evening. Like, they didn't sleep all night. They just, as you do. You just get sex tired.
It happens.
So, they talk about last night, or, like, beforehand. Because she's like, how are you getting back? And apparently Taylor had just been, like, staying outside in his car waiting for Christian. Because, as your bodyguard does. Anna finally asks, like, did you get me tipsy on purpose? And so we find out that he did. And Christian's like, because you overthink everything and you're reticent like your stepdad. A drop of wine in you and you start talking, and I need you to communicate honestly with me. It's like, well... So, that's great, because that's how business is actually done. So...
Right, we've all been to business school.
Yep. Yep. They start getting, I don't know, they start talking about how if Anna just, like, stretches this out and doesn't sign it, they can, like, do these scenes with each other, and he'll, like, hold her against her will, but they're, like, joking about, I don't know. They're talking about, like, these total power exchange things, and I think they're joking and having fun about it, or he is. He's happy about it. I'm not sure that she is. I can't tell.
Yeah.
Anyways, so he decides to... before he leaves. So earlier on in the last chapter, Anna had rolled her eyes. And Christian had said that if she did that again, he would spank her. So in this chapter, she rolls her eyes. And...
she physically cannot help it.
No, all she does is, like, rolls her eyes and bites her lip. It's just what she does.
Yeah.
So,
that's who she is, man.
So she does it here. And so he decides to spank her, but before he does, he makes her, like, answer these questions of, like, why am I doing this? Do you think that's polite? Will you do it again? All these kinds of things. Anyways, he spanks her, I think it's like 18 times or something, and then he tells her that she should be sleeping in silks and satins instead of sweatpants, which, first of all, sweatpants are comfortable.
Sweatpants are fucking bomb, alright?
And sweatpants are usually cheap, so...
Whoa, hear me out though. Silk sweatpants?
Now, tell me more.
That's all I have at the moment. I wish
Well,
I had more.
Workshop it and get it back to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna run it to Shark Tank real quick, and then we'll see where we are.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Now, he decides after all of this that he wants to rub baby oil onto her butt, as you do. He leaves and is like, I'll see you Sunday, bye. She calls her mom. They have a weird talk about graduation and stuff like that. She talks with Kate, and Kate is pissed, like usual. But Kate can tell, just like her mom could, that Anna's kind of, like, in a weird mood and upset.
Yeah.
And so they kind of hang out and have some wine and talk and all of those things. And then we get to, as Anna calls it, the mean machine. And this is when things get a little bit rough. It's been a while since Anna's had some food in her, I guess, right?
Yep.
And so she's just had champagne and wine for at least the past hour, maybe 2-3 hours. So Christian emails her at like 11 and tells her to take Advil and to never drive her old car again because he will know.
Cool, dude.
Really cool. And so they start getting into this, like, written email fight with each other, and it's kind of gross because they're talking about how, like, Taylor will take care of the car, but Anna's able to do it herself and all these things. And Christian starts getting into these weird assumptions of, like, I think it's your red wine talking, Anna, because you're acting really weird. I think you've just had a really long day. And so they start talking to each other really gross and stuff. And especially because she says something to him about, like, she's just some woman that he fucks occasionally, and he gets, like, really upset about it because it's the truth.
Yeah. It's like, hey, whoa.
And so he finally just emails her once and is like, why don't you like me?
Oh
and so Anna just responds back, because you never stay with me. And so, gross. So she's upset, right? Then all of a sudden, she just hears Kate just, like, screaming and doesn't really do anything about it, just, like, lets her scream, which is great. And then, as usual, Christian's just in her house again.
Yeah, like, why not, man?
Yeah,
Come
it's
on
just, midnight, and he's in her place, as you do.
Although, Kat does not let him in without a fight. She's like, fuck you, dude. What are you doing to her? She's crying. I hate you. Get out of my house.
Yeah, she's the best.
Yeah.
And
BD off the charts.
Yep. Yeah, she's so cool. Christian comes in, and Anna's like, I don't understand. What are you doing here? And so he's talking about the fact that his, like, part of his role is to, like, look after her or whatever. And he's like, is this just because I hit you? And so he's all like, did you follow my advice and, like, take your ibuprofen and shit? And so he's like, just take these. Just, like, listen to me for once, Anna. Oh, my God.
Please.
And so she finally tells him, like, I didn't like that you hit me, and I'd rather you not do that again. So they finally talk, and he explains, like, oh, I'm not going to actually hit you tonight again, Anna. Sorry, I didn't make that super clear. But I just actually like the control that it gives me, and I just want you to behave in a particular way, and if you don't, I'm going to punish you. And it's like, this is not the time, Christian.
Christian.
She's upset.
She's so sad.
Yep. So they try to talk about this, and he's trying to almost parse out why she's upset, but in the way of doing that, he's trying to almost persuade her of the fact that she was turned on by him doing that. At least that's how I took reading that. So it was a very interesting conversation that they were having. And he almost wants her to just, like, email him while they're standing there, because he thinks that she's more honest that way. They're a very interesting couple that cannot communicate properly.
No.
No, not at all.
No.
So they decide to just not really finish talking everything out, but that he's going to stay there for the evening. And that's how chapter 16 ends. Mm-hmm. It's just Anna is upset, and Christian isn't really being sympathetic about why, but he's going to stay there regardless.
And they're both just laying in bed.
Yep.
Not talking.
Nope. He just really wants her to email him.
Yeah.
Yep. And so that's where we are at. So next week is chapter 17 and 18.
Woo!
Yep. Great.
Yeah. Go team.
Go team. So before we move on to our fan fiction, when you are listening to this is a new month, which means this is a fantastic time to hop on that Patreon bandwagon.
Hell yeah, dude.
We always appreciate that good cash money. And so we're going to give a shout out to our $10 patrons.
Woo!
So, shout out to Shannon Clearwater, who this week is the brand new car that Anna got.
Ooh. Shout out to Jessica Stanley, who was the teacups that they were drinking champagne out of.
Oh, hell yeah. And shout out to Katie Weber, who is that good old ibuprofen that helped take away the booty pain that Anna had.
The booty pain.
You know that booty pain that we all have.
Fellas,
sometimes.
When you get in the booty pain. When you have the booty pain.
And you just need something to help take it away sometimes.
Yeah.
So, here's the thing.
What's up?
I had to do my own work this week
to
get a fan fiction.
Our intern was off duty this week.
Our intern took a goddamn vacation. And that's fine. You know what, Taylor Browntown? Sometimes you need a vacation, and that's okay.
Yeah, true.
But get back to it, is all I'm saying. So I had to search for 50 Shades of Grey fanfiction, and I think I found a good one.
Ooh.
It's called Gathering Human Data by Book Junk. And it was published on May 20th, 2015. And the summary goes a little bit like this. It says, beware. I am not a 50 Shades of Grey fan. An extraterrestrial creature inhabits Anna's body for research and is baffled by what it discovers.
Oh my god.
And this has 19 chapters.
Oh, wow. Not a 50 Shades fan, huh?
Nope. I am going to
Book
read...
Junk? Huh?
I am going to read from the first chapter called Friendship, Catherine Kavanaugh.
Right.
Explorer's Log. Earth date, 8th of May, 2011. First entry. Subject, Friendship, Catherine Kavanaugh. My host, Anastasia Rose Steele, Anna for short, has few friends, so assimilating those memories and feelings should be relatively easy. For clarity's sake, I will record my host's thoughts in italics. My best friend is Kate. I hate her. I think that she's a slut for showing affection towards men in public. Also, just for having a sex drive. Plus, she keeps asking me how I'm doing. What a bitch, right? I mean, what sort of friend is she, caring about my well-being and noticing if I'm upset? Okay, those are Anna's feelings about Catherine Kavanaugh, who is supposedly her best friend. Not quite what I expected. I ask a random woman on the street about it. She nods, as if my story makes sense. Could these feelings be considered normal amongst humans? Standard, even? Kate sounds like she's your frenemy, the woman says. That's friend and enemy, together. Extraordinary. I thought that those were mutually exclusive relationships. I did understand that one can be a friend first and then become an enemy, or vice versa, but both at the same time? My alien overlords will be thrilled to have learned something new about the human race. When I later ask a tiny man about it, though, I am less sure that I have drawn the correct conclusions. Girls are weird, the tiny man replies. Maybe my findings only apply to the female part of the species. Further research is necessary before I report this discovery. End scene.
Wow.
Alien overlords! It's all real!
19 chapters of that.
19 chapters.
On a sidebar, like, Anna would love it if her junk was a book, right? Like, it's just...
I think so, right?
It. Yeah, she has to.
Yeah, I agree. The aliens, they're real.
Oh my god. I was gonna say in Seattle.
Get bit.
Get whipped!
This is an Earbud Media production. You can find us on Twitter at Earbud Media and listen to the rest of our shows. You can find this show on Twitter at Into the Twilight, as well as intothetwilight.show. You can send us an email at intothetwilightshow@gmail.com. You can also become a sponsor of the show or buy some merch at intothetwilight.bigcartel.com. Our art is done by Maddie Padilla, who you can find at YourGhostHost44 on Instagram, and our music is done by Eli Krause. You can find at Eli Sauerkraus and KrauseFilms.com. The intro and outro is by KB Smith. You can find at KB__Smith on Twitter. You can find Allie on Twitter at Into Wild Places, and you can find me at Dyke Discourse.
You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.